Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back. We are broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Rumble, Odyssey, and maybe more tonight, but more on that later. So, welcome back. We are still trying to navigate these YouTube changes, and I am aware some of you have emailed me about. Some of you who are YouTube content creators have emailed me today about a massive drop in views that apparently happened in the last day or so. And I'm still trying to figure out what's happening myself. But apparently, along with the new rules changes, came a algorithmic change in how views are tabulated or counted or reported to YouTube content creators channel. And what I will say about that is I have no power or control over this, and I'm in the same boat as all of you. I have no idea what's happening. No one is quite sure. Apparently there was some sort of error yesterday with real-time view reporting. But then I'm hearing other stories that they changed the algorithm and lengthened the amount of time someone has to sit there on the video before they count it as a view. But consequently, many content creators today are reporting a 50% reduction in their views or average views on their videos as of yesterday. And while this is disappointing, again, this is things that are completely and totally beyond my control. We are guests here, and therefore, there's really nothing that I can do to change whatever's happening. I'm hoping that it is a, problem that they are addressing, but we can see from average view counts of 2,000 to 2,500 views per live show for the last, several weeks to 1,000 views for yesterday's show. And again, this is nothing to do with me. I understand because I have a background, I suppose, in computer science. Many of you think that I may have some insight into what's going on, and no, I don't. And I'm just as concerned and as the rest of you. So with that being addressed, also, some of you may have noticed, if you follow me on Twitter, at Stephen Cambion, that we are publishing more audio podcasts than usual. And this is in an effort, quite honestly, to generate more revenue for the show. We realized that we had something like 500 shows, either from my previous show, The Midnight Hour, an audio podcast, or from earlier episodes of Truthseekers that were never broadcast on Spreaker and therefore never on iHeartRadio or on Apple or, wherever the various places you get your podcasts. So we are broadcasting or publishing a few of those a day, again, in an effort to sort of try to increase revenue, because it would appear that due to these changes in YouTube land, our revenue will be dropping from what it was, which wasn't incredible to begin with, though we're always happy for any support that we get from any platform that we partner with. I'm still trying to navigate and figure out, some things with Rumble and other alternative platforms, but yeah. So don't get me started on that. And while I appreciate everybody thinking that I have some insight into these algorithmic YouTube changes, no, I don't. Yes. And Amy Collins is here. Welcome, Amy Collins, who says from 27 cents to 13 cents. Yes, but through the course of the month, Amy Collins, that's a 50% reduction in income from what we were at. So this is why, look, if you know a YouTube content creator, Amy Collins, or anybody within the sound of my voice, give that YouTube content creator a hug, because this has not been a good time for any YouTube content creator. First of all, with the various changes, you can't curse once, from what I understand, Well, it depends on who you ask, or they demonetize your video completely. And now they are retroactively, which this is what I don't understand. I don't understand how you can comply with the rules at the time you make the video, and the rules are one way, and then they change the rules and then retroactively demonetize old videos that don't comply with the new rules, but did comply with the old rules. You see how this gets very confusing very quickly. And thank you, Anonymous Rex, making up for the difference with a kind and generous $1.99 super sticker. We thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. My hat is always open should anybody want to, anybody feel generous and want to support the show. Our hat is always open here for kind and generous people from around the world to throw a few bucks in and to help us praise the cash. Thank you, Anonymous Rex.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
Yes. So we thank you, Anonymous Rex. And I am going to be doing things a little differently. Meaning, well, we're still having a presentation tonight as usual. Oh, and also there's another issue that I'd like to address, which is we're still trying to get monetized on Twitch, and it's twitch.tv/TruthSeekerShow. We need to get our average viewers or number of viewers up over there. So if you are listening on a computer or PC or laptop or tablet and you have the ability to go over there and go in the chat, it may be very helpful to us if you could do that. So what we're going to do is, well, let me get over to the live chat here at YouTube, on our YouTube channel, and I'm going to put the link to the Twitch stream in the live chat, and I will pin it to the top. So if you could go over there, if you don't mind where you watch or listen from, that would be very helpful. And those comments, when you comment on the Twitch chat, I still see those. So it might be very helpful. We're trying to generate a new revenue stream to make up for the lack of the YouTube revenue stream, I suppose, with these new changes. And I'm still, like I said, I'm not clear on the changes. All we can do is continue on doing the show. And if, the funds drop, we're still here and we'll still keep moving forward. And we thank My Flock is Everywhere for kind and generous 99-cent super sticker and for being a member. We appreciate your kindness, your generosity, and support, and for helping us to praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
And while I'm on this subject, I should state very clearly that we love you, YouTube AI algorithm gods. Please find favor in us. We're not talking bad about you. Please turn our views back on. That would be great. So I'm told, though, however, from somebody that I do know who works for Google, not YouTube, but Google, but has friends that work in the YouTube space, that they're retooling the algorithm which counts the views. And again, this is just something somebody told me. Take from that what you will. And apparently, let's say, for example, that you used to have to stay on a video for 5 seconds before they would count it as a view. Now, apparently, you're going to have to stay on it for much longer for them to count it as a view. And I don't know if that's true, but my friend has been accurate with most of his other when I have questions in the past, he's usually been accurate with information. Old friend of mine, old hacker buddy, and BBS friend of all things, right? And we do see some people over there in the Twitch chat helping us bring that average viewer count up. My Flux says you're welcome. Yeah, so this may be a good thing to help, and I will tweet out the show right now as well. Join us in the live chat. And I will say this: it's very discouraging, these recent changes in YouTube, because it felt like in this last month that things were really picking up for us here on YouTube, and the views were increasing, the subscribers were increasing, and therefore certainly the monetary reward was increasing. And now that's apparently gone. So all that momentum is, but I don't want to get discouraged. I'm a glass half full kind of person, right? Or just be happy you have a glass. That's what my father used to say. Forget about the glass being half full or half empty. Just be glad you got a glass. Okay, Dad. So we're just gonna roll forward and roll with the punches here and keep the show going. That's all we can do. It is disappointing though, and then realizing that you have no control over these things is not a good feeling, right? And I got to tell you that I envy certain content creators that have such a huge following. They can go anywhere and still have a very lucrative show. For example, many one-time YouTube content creators have left YouTube completely and are solely on Rumble now, and they're doing very well over there. But the problem is you need to have a huge following in order to do that. I guess some people are just fortunate that way, and they can go and do their show wherever they're going to do it and still do very, very well because they have such a massive following. Like people didn't, by and large, stop watching Joe Rogan because he moved to Spotify. They all went with him, but he's got, millions of listeners. So, but it is what it is. We're just going to keep rolling along here. Oh, there you go. Apex the Stoner says, I just made it into the Twitch affiliate program myself. Well, the reason that the Twitch affiliate program is so important, Apex the Stoner, I don't know if you know this, but if people are Amazon Prime members, they get $5 a month to give to anybody on Twitch for free. So you could get $5 a month from everybody watching your show that has an Amazon Prime account, and it costs them nothing. And I know somebody that's getting hundreds of people every month to give them the $5. And so it becomes a really good revenue source. We're this close to getting to that. I think we kind of did things the wrong way, which was to pump so many shows at Twitch before we really had a following there. But we're learning from our mistakes. We're moving forward, rolling with the punches. I'm seeing a lot more people over there in the Twitch chat, and I would appreciate any of you who do have a Twitch account. If you're listening in the YouTube live chat or watching, go on over to Twitch, say hello in the Twitch chat. That may help us get past this stuff, right? Yeah, Anthony Purcell says, you probably need content that's not so one-sided. Not everybody is into UFOs or calling out the fakers. Yeah, well, the original concept of the show was to cover all things strange, mysterious, paranormal, and esoteric, but we somehow fell down the UFO rabbit hole, and honestly, the views are twice as much when we cover UFOs than when we cover other paranormal subjects. Therefore, we kind of organically went that way, but we're revisiting that. Yeah, and Jeremy Corbell is here and wants to know, do naked shows to increase the audience? Well, in my case, I think that might reduce the audience, right? People will tune off, right? At least in my case. I always joke I'm going to start a OnlyFans, but in my OnlyFans, you have to pay me to keep my clothes on, right? So let's move on and on with the show, friends. Tonight I found a strange sort of rabbit hole that was interesting, and interesting in that I was surprised at how little apparently has changed between 1957 and today when it comes to UFO grifters and UFO con artists who are selling, let's just say, questionable information with questionable or no evidence or proof. So tonight we're covering something, some claims made in 1957. There was a man named Howard Menger. Um, I'm going to show you some pictures of Mr. Menger and his claims. Very, very interesting gentleman who claimed many things, right? Kurt had the same on his channel with UFOs. Yeah. YouTube is becoming the safe, weird white picket fence neighborhood that I always felt weird in. Yeah, it seems that they are trying, and listen, I can't blame them. They don't want people cursing. They want family-friendly content, and because that's what the advertisers prefer. And I get that. But when you get into a situation where you can't, speak like a normal adult and curse occasionally or say something off funny, I find myself second guessing literally everything I'm saying. Like I have to filter things first, and I don't like that. I really, really don't like that, Louise. I'm trying to. What can I say? I'm not happy with the changes. Let's just say that. But when in Rome, I don't have a choice. So we just have to do what they want. Oh, listen, X Ricky Sauce 58X says you could swear on Twitch. Yeah, you could swear everywhere, apparently, except YouTube. Look, I don't understand it. I'm just going to try to. We're just going to try to navigate the new situation, just as we navigated the old situations. And by the way, I cursed up a storm, and almost every video we had was demonetized for a long, long time here. And then, I talked to a friend who said it's not just the monetization, you're losing out on getting recommended. If you just stop cursing for a few weeks, they'll start recommending your videos, your views will shoot up. And I did, and they did. So, we have adapted here before, and we will continue to adapt, right? And Gorilla Gamer says you can cuss. Well, not if you want to stay monetized. And quite honestly, I don't want to give them an excuse. Do you know, Gorilla Gamer, that somebody said a word which meant arriving? You can get, I don't even want to say the word. Now I can't say that word. It starts with a C, ends with a G. It means arriving, like you're somewhere. And the YouTube algorithm mistook that for off-color humor. Like saying when a guy is. Anyway, yeah. And now we got to do we're going to have to start doing charades here so people know what I mean. It's getting ridiculous. But there's certain words now that aren't really curses, but if you say those words, the algorithm might flag you and decide that you're making comments or jokes of a sexual nature, which is against their rules or something, I don't understand this, and I'm no Walter Cronkite, Gorilla Gamer, but I'm going to try. I decided, I took a walk today, felt good, get out, get a little sunshine. I thought about all this and I said, if me cursing is going to excuse them from paying me for my time, that's unacceptable. And I'm not willing to give them an excuse to not pay me. I mean, they can make up new or more excuses, but at least that one is within my control. I can control whether I curse or don't curse. I don't think people will miss me cursing. I'm just going to try my best to not curse, right? Jello Putin says Truth Seekers is going to be Truth Squeakers. Yeah. Well, look, what I can tell you is that lately I've been thinking a lot about the amount of time that I'm putting into the show. And eventually, I always say I would do the show whether there's 4 people watching or nobody watching. But at some point, the problem becomes that I am ignoring, well, maybe not ignoring, let's say I am neglecting other areas of my company's business endeavors in order to do this more. But the problem is, if I go and put if I go, let's say, for example, if I put 5 hours into the other areas of my business, I see a financial return on those 5 hours. But if I come here and put the 5 hours in, I don't always see, or I see barely, it's not equivalent. It's not at all equivalent. In other words, let's say, for example, I put 5 hours into other areas of my business and I make $200 or $300. I can't do that here. If I put 5 hours here, it's YouTube pennies. And then you have YouTube essentially using any excuse they can to, now we're knocking down my view count. Now we're going to demonetize you if you say anything that the algorithm finds fault with, whether it's a curse, off-color humor, sexual innuendo, perhaps, or any of these other things. It's very discouraging. So at some point, I have to say, I can't keep shoveling all these hours here and then give and it's great. I have to fight for pennies with $1 billion corporation, right? But this is the situation we find ourselves in. And again, I'm happy to have a host here. I just wish that they would make the rules much clearer and give people a fair shot. I'm not asking for a handout here, but help out would be nice. Yeah. UFO Man is here and says, hi, Stephen, and I say hello. Okay, so back to this Howard Menger. Howard Menger was a UFO and alien contactee in the 1950s. He was born in 1922 and he died in 2009. He was from the United States, of course, and Howard Menger claimed that he met aliens all throughout the course of his life, and he had many fantastical stories about meeting aliens and things like that. I'm going to share my screen and show you some images and things like that. This is just from Google. He wrote many books, From Outer Space to You, The High Bridge Incident, and more. And his so-called evidence or proof was pretty bad by today's standards. This is the pictures of the aliens and the spacecraft that he claimed to have been in contact with. These are some other pictures. And by the way, I have several of his books. I have all of the 1950s UFO contactees books. And, here's some of the other images. And Howard Menger made a good living in the 1950s and 60s, basically being the modern day equivalent to a ufologist today. So he would go to conferences. Specifically, he was very centered around those run by George Van Tassel at Giant Rock, where they later built the Integratron, and that was a scam, but Threads of Light to You, from Howard and Connie Menger. Opening your eyes to endless knowledge, forever learning, but never knowing all. And here's him and his wife back in the 1950s. And of course, Howard Menger had a connection to those early UFO contactees, including Frank Stranges, who is the originator of the Valiant Thor story, and George Van Tassel, and others. But interestingly, he claimed that he was in contact with extraterrestrials. His books have been translated into, I think, something like 12 different languages. And it's incredible. This is another one of those. This is supposed to be a picture of him with the aliens, a light being alien. This is supposed to be an alien coming out of a spaceship. And by the way, people have matched up this so-called UFO with railroad lanterns of the night of that era. In other words, oil lanterns. He took the top off of an oil lantern. Maybe he put a plastic figure or metal soldier in front of it or something. I don't know. But his so-called evidence or proof was pretty laughable, if you ask me, but that was the time. And I think that many of these UFO contactees from the 50s and 60s, including Adamski, this person Howard Menger, and others like Billy Meyer, when you look at this stuff today, it looks pretty hokey and stupid. Like, why would anybody believe this? This is a picture of an alien, really? But I thought it was interesting how little has changed, right? Because what we get is like grainy, crappy, really bad images. We don't get super clear, high resolution images. It's pretty hokey. But Howard Menger was very interesting in that he made some claims like that the aliens, apparently he claimed that he had absolutely zero. Howard Menger claimed that he had absolutely zero musical aptitude, musical knowledge, or musical ability. But then he met the aliens, and the aliens, he communicated to the aliens that he'd always wanted to be a musician or learn how to play the piano. And as a gift, they gifted him the ability to instantly play the piano. I would be very interested in, and by the way, for a time, I did try to track down his surviving children and get some more of his story, but that was not a successful attempt. But interestingly, Howard Menger claimed that he had zero musical ability. He couldn't play any instrument. He never had any music lessons as a child or otherwise. But then he met these aliens in a cabin in the woods. And these angelic alien beings gave him the ability to play the piano somehow. And after that, they gave him sort of downloads of music from alien worlds. And then he created an album called Authentic Music from Another Planet, narrated and played by Howard Menger. And that was in 1957. And I think it's pretty interesting that we get, here I'm going to share my screen. Oh, let me put up my fair use banner. That's another change that we have to worry about. So I'm going to explain, and you people will get sick of hearing me say this, but I'm going to say it every time. Here at Truthseekers, we use clips of historical importance, and we use those clips for educational purposes. And Truthseekers as a show is a transformative work. So if we're playing a clip, using a clip, it is in the spirit of fair use. And this show is, by definition, while using that clip, a transformative work. Oh, 1 second, wrong one. Yeah, and along with all the YouTube changes, there have come, look, I really do try to have a thick skin. And if somebody's critical of things in the show, I'm okay with that. But along with all these YouTube changes and an apparently a soon to be coming 50% drop in revenue from YouTube, we've been getting a lot of strange comments lately. And I'm only going to say this one time. We do not ever delete any comments on our YouTube channel. We do not do it. YouTube does a lot. Ask any content creator. People complain about it. Even content creators I know who, like me, say they have never deleted a comment. People will get in the comments, start crying and complaining that I'm deleting comments and I'm censoring them. No, we don't censor anybody here. You can comment anything you want in the comments. I don't delete comments. I don't generally here. We do not ban or hide users or mute anybody. So let's get that out of the way. And another thing is this weird criticism. Like I said, I have a thick skin. I don't care if you want to be critical, but like people are commenting in the YouTube comments like, you should hit the mute button when you cough. Usually I do. But occasionally, like today, I just let a cough slip. I am still recovering from some cold death flu thing. I apologize if a cough while you're watching content for free is so offensive to you that you have to complain about it in my comments. Like, get over it. Somebody else complained that the music in the bumpers is too loud compared to my voice, and when they try to sleep to the show, it wakes them up. So now I have to listen to people complain because they're trying to sleep to the show and my bumpers are waking them up. All I'm asking is, like, be reasonable, especially you people who have never contributed any to my show. Like, it's fine. All of our content is free, viewer or ad supported or whatever, but it's always going to be free. You listen to it for free. I don't care if you have a valid criticism or complaint, but to complain to me because I didn't use the mute button once when I coughed, or complain to me because you were trying to sleep to my show and the bumpers woke you up, and this is somehow my fault. Like, I'm sorry. Let me look. We're going to have to take a week off and we're going to have to edit all the bumpers to ensure that the audio levels are in line with my voice so that we don't wake up sleeping listeners listening to the show. I'm sorry, but this stuff is ridiculous, and some of you people are starting to get on my nerves, especially the people saying that we delete comments. Like, somebody comes here to get nasty in the comments, and then they get pissed off and saying no, we don't delete anything. All right, got that off my chest. I feel better now. I hope you do too, you whiners, right? You whiners, go whine to some other show, right? Like, I'm doing all this myself. Like, the levels of the music, yeah, it's comparable to other comparable shows. I checked, and I'm sorry if you're. Why would you be sleeping to my show and complain that the music's too loud? Some of the bumpers, and that woke you up. The fact that somebody would stop what they're doing in their day and complain about this, I'm doing the best I can. All right. Send me $40,000. Anybody that has any questions, this is going to be my new answer. If you have any questions, problems, or concerns about audio levels not being quite right or perfect, send me $40,000, and that will cover an audio engineer that I will hire with your $40,000. I'm doing the best I can. That's all I can do, and I'm sorry if you're unhappy with the free content that you're consuming. And by the way, I always think it's funny that the people who complain are people who listen and watch everything I do for years, but something sets people off, I guess. I don't know. So back to Howard Menger. Boy, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place today. So this is fair use. This is a transformative work, and we're educating the public about a UFO contactee from the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, and beyond, named Howard Menger, who claimed that he was in contact with extraterrestrial aliens from, among other things, Saturn and Venus. And we're educating the public, critiquing the video we are sharing. This is covered under fair use and allowable by law. And further, this album, it is a record from 1957, is out of copyright. I checked. It's no longer a copyrighted work. It is no longer copyrighted. It's free use for me to play it. It's fair use for me to play it. And we will be critiquing and talking about these, the video we'll be sharing with members of our live audience here. So this is certainly a transformative work and covered under fair use. All right. Let's get to it. Authentic music from another planet. And this, again, is from 1957. And one of the things that struck me about this is that it's interesting how little has changed in the world of UFOs, because talk about the ability to just BS. He calls it authentic music from another planet, and it's narrated and played by him, Howard Menger. And the album cover is a picture that he says is an actual photograph of interplanetary spacecraft. So what we can see is that the laws weren't any different for UFO con artists or grifters in 1957. And by the way, can I prove that Howard Menger is a UFO con artist or grifter? Not really. But when you pick apart his pictures, his so-called evidence, his stories, and specifically where he said the aliens came from, but there's a whole explanation for that. I really don't believe that this man was in contact with anything but a desire for fame, stardom, and money. But in the beginning of this album, he gives a whole explanation and tells his story of how he met the aliens and how they gave him alien music and gave him the ability to play the piano. So we're going to get into this, and we're going to discuss this man, Howard Menger, and whether we believe or not that Earthlings, us here on Earth, were given, quote, authentic music from another planet in 1957. Let's get into it, friends.
I am Howard Menger. The following statements which I shall make are true facts that can and will be verified at the proper time. The music that has been recorded on the reverse side of this record has come to me from outer space.
And I love how he says these are true facts, because he says so. And one thing you will quickly realize when you start listening to Howard Menger and his stories is that there's never any corroboration, right? Or real evidence or proof other than these hokey pictures and him telling the stories. But I did think it was interesting that he had a unique angle here to sell something. Record players were all the rage in 1957. And suddenly Howard Menger comes up with a record album of authentic music from another planet and a fantastical story about how he got the music from the aliens.
I have been instructed by a person from another planet to bring this music to the attention of the people on this earth. I have had direct contact with people from other planets and have spoken with them on many occasions. I have ridden in their spaceships. They have taken me to their planets and brought me back to Earth again several times. I have seen how they live, what they wear, what they eat.
Yeah, so Howard Menger claimed that extraterrestrial aliens from the planet Saturn and the planet Venus, who coincidentally looked very much like Adamski's, blonde hair, blue-eyed, really pretty, really gorgeous, really very, very attractive people, tall, blonde hair, blue eyes, your typical Nordic, or what many people would describe as a Pleiadian. So Howard Menger claimed that the aliens that he met took him aboard their spacecraft to their planets.
And how they look. They are friendly people and are by far more advanced spiritually and physically than the people of this planet. At the present time, they are observing us.
Yes, so Howard Menger's story was that these aliens came here from the planet Saturn and the planet Venus, and they were observing Earth, and that they had incredible spiritual knowledge that they wanted to share with humanity, and they chose him to impart that wisdom and knowledge to, and wanted him to then disseminate it to the public. And much like the UFO contactee and alien people of today, these aliens found Howard Menger to be so important. For some reason, they picked him out of every human being on Earth to impart their spiritual wisdom and knowledge, which, by the way, is incredibly similar to the sort of, I don't want to say garbage, spiritual mumbo jumbo, new age philosophies that are still being sold today. Care more about others than yourself, right? those sort of things. But it's interesting that, again, out of all of the people on Earth, Howard Menger was apparently so important that they went to him. They went to him instead of anybody else on Earth, right? He is their emissary on Earth. Okay. Does that sound familiar to anybody else? Right? Just like a modern day Corey Goode or many of these other people who claim they're so important that aliens from other star systems are coming here just to communicate with them, and they have important information to share. But we're going to need some money for that. You're going to have to buy my book. You're going to have to buy my documentary, buy my comic books. You better buy my video games, you know. So it's interesting that Howard Menger, this is from 1957, and it's almost the same story, different details, certainly, of today with a Corey Goode or others, but similar story. Oh, these aliens thought I was so important that they contacted me. They came all the way from other planets. In this case, he says planets. By the way, later, it's interesting that Howard Menger would later change his story about where the aliens came from once the proof that the planet Venus and Saturn were certainly not habitable came out. But we'll talk more about that in a moment.
They wish to help us to help ourselves to attain a higher understanding of life and its meaning. Many people from this earth have already seen some of their spacecraft.
1950s, late 1950s, people were seeing a lot of UFOs in the sky. There was a lot of newspaper articles. It was permeating, UFOs were permeating public culture for the first time, really. The late 1950s saw a UFO flap or craze of sightings of UFOs. And so Menger, I think, latched on to this. And isn't it interesting that these aliens came from a whole nother planet and then told him to give this information to the human species? And what does Howard Menger do with it? He makes a for-profit album that you could buy with the alien music on it. And this incredible story that he's telling of meeting the aliens, it's exact to today's garbage peddlers, just like Stan Romanek, just like, Dr. Jonathan Reed, I guess, or Corey Goode, or any of these other grifters. The aliens are giving him secret information, but instead of just giving it away for free to people, he's got to sell it in some form. And in 1957, record players were all the rage, so Howard Menger comes up with this. He's going to show you authentic music from another planet,
which they call flying saucers, and other flying objects which they cannot describe. These objects are real and are spacecrafts from other planets. There are people in them, and many of them have already landed on this earth.
You notice that he's making very fantastical statements here, and he offers no evidence. It's the trust me, dude school of UFOs that we see permeating UFO Twitter today. No evidence, no proof, but statements made as facts without any facts and evidence to support those statements. I find that interesting, remembering that this is from 1957.
They are now in our midst, mingling with you and observing you without your knowledge. As I have said before, they are only here to help you. They are peace-loving people and worship the same infinite creator that we do.
Yes, and I find it interesting. One thing I've always found interesting about the 1950s contactees is that all their aliens looked exactly like Earth people. Maybe a little better looking, maybe a little taller, a little blonder, better color, blue eyes, more attractive than us, a little taller than us, sort of like an idealized human being. But if you talk to an evolutionary biologist, ask an evolutionary biologist, what are the chances of intelligent life, evolving in another star system on another planet and it coming out looking exactly like humans? It's kind of nonsensical if you know anything about evolutionary biology and planetary science. But I guess back then people were a little less informed about evolution and things like that. Like, this makes absolutely no sense. All of these 1950s contactees aliens looked exactly like humans, just a little blonder, just a little taller, and a little better looking. It doesn't make sense that an exact species to human beings would evolve on another star system or another planet and then find their way here and look exactly like us. You know, 5 fingers, 5 toes, 2 eyes, a nose, 2 ears. It's just too convenient to me. And while I'm no expert, I have to assume that aliens evolving in an entirely different star system would have different variables. Maybe the sun would be closer to their planet so that they'd have smaller eyes or different eyes, or maybe just one eye. Maybe the gravity would be different, so their body shape and type would be different. There's so many variables in the cosmos, but to just claim that these aliens are coming here and they just happen to look exactly like us, I think is really a big stretch. And I don't understand why people in the 50s and 60s didn't understand what a big stretch that was and how improbable it was. Maybe it was just a lack of scientific knowledge in those days.
This shall all be proven at the proper time. Now, getting back to the music that has come to me from another planet.
Yeah. Before we get back to the music that has come to him from another planet, did you notice how he said this shall all be proven at a proper time? Well, Howard Menger died in 2009, and he never proved any of this. None of it. So there's that. And isn't it interesting how Howard Menger is basically using the kick the can down the road? Oh, well, if you want proof, this will all be proven soon. Have we heard any modern day UFO people or alien people say that? Of course we have. They all say it. This will all be revealed soon. The truth is going to come out. Disclosure's coming any day now. And everybody will know that we were all right about this. But they never actually get to the part where the proof comes out. Same thing with Howard Menger, all the way back in 1957. Howard Menger had from 1957, this is his first major work, this book, released in, I believe, 1957 as well. He had from 1957 till 2009 to prove his claims. And by the way, like a lot of other modern day UFO celebrities, Howard Menger's stories got more and more fantastical and grandiose the longer he stayed on the circuit. And this is a phenomenon we commonly call here at Truthseekers UFO disease. Howard Menger worked the UFO conferences and sold his first book for about 5 or 7 years, I believe, at which point the people got tired of hearing the same old stories from him because they had been hearing his stories for 5 years, and people have already bought his book for the past 5 or 7 years, with him appearing at all of these conventions and UFO gatherings of people selling his book. He and his wife would travel across the country giving talks, lectures, and selling his book. But after 5 or 7 years, people tired of those stories. Suddenly, he's having more alien contacts and new alien contacts and writing another book. Does that sound familiar? This is the same tactic used by modern day UFO and alien hucksters, right? What about David Wilcock? He's never done selling you something. He's always got new stories, right? He's getting new briefings. He's got new whistleblowers. They all do it. And part of me, but I think if they had one story that was somewhat believable, or I'd be willing to believe, their original story, that's one thing. But when they all do the same thing, which is to expand the story, come up with news stories, and suddenly they're having new alien contacts. And Corey Goode did the very same thing. You know, first episode of Cosmic Disclosure, oh, I did 120 and back. As the show progressed, they need new material. He's suddenly recovering new memories. Oh, I did another 20 and back. And then he recovered more memories, and he did another 20 and back. And he had fantastical stories to sell. Freudian slip. Fantastical stories to tell, some would say sell people, every few years, right? And that makes the original claims questionable, because, you know, it's one thing to claim, okay, Howard Menger, you were out in the woods and you saw an angelic, blonde-haired, blue-eyed alien being who explained to you that she was from Saturn and started teaching you about philosophy and science and engineering, right? As he was, by the way, a teenage boy. You know, teenage boy goes out into the woods. Suddenly there's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, super hot chick with big eyes, and she's teaching him all about the universe, right? You know, but this, like I said, the stories get grander and grander. Later, in the 1980s and 90s, Howard Menger claimed that he worked for the United States government developing flying saucer technology, and even created a flying saucer that got away from his lab, and they found it hundreds of miles away. You know, the stories get grander and grander. But back to his story here. He's about to tell us about the alien music that he says came from aliens.
One day, while driving alone in my car, I suddenly noticed that I had no control of the car whatsoever. I kept riding for miles through the countryside under the direction of a higher intelligence. I knew that my car and I were being assisted by someone from outer space.
Yeah, he saw that movie.
I did not know where I was being taken. When I finally came to a stop, I saw an old cabin in the woods.
Beats are coming, yeah.
It was the only cabin in sight for miles around.
Well, this part of the story I like, because he meets the aliens in an old cabin in the wilderness. And interestingly, he never like explained, did he go to the owners of the cabin or find out who owned that cabin and tell them, did you know that aliens are hanging out? They're squatting in your cabin and I met aliens in your cabin? No, he never does that. He just met some aliens in a cabin, never explained exactly where the cabin was or anything like that. Just trust me, dude.
Secluded and obscure. While I was standing outside the cabin, I heard the strains of music from a piano being played from within the cabin. I was entranced. I walked in, and there, sitting at the piano and playing, was a man who later introduced himself as someone from the planet Saturn. I looked at the piano and saw that it was entirely different from our conventional pianos.
Yeah. Interestingly, he claimed that the aliens that he met were from the planet Saturn, and he also claimed to meet aliens from the planet Venus. Now, anybody who's had a grade school education in science today would be aware that those planets are not habitable. Later, Menger and his supporters would come up with new stories to explain away him originally saying they were from Saturn or Venus, saying that no, they weren't from Saturn or Venus, they just had bases there that they used to observe Earthlings, but they weren't from Saturn or Venus, they were from another star system. Which again begs the question, how did alien beings from another star system evolve to look, sound, and appear exactly like human beings on Earth? That's a problem.
The instrument was much lower and closer to the floor, and the keyboard was much longer and contained many more keys than
alien
our piano keyboard.
Piano. The alien piano was different.
The keys had strange markings on them, which I did not understand. I heard the music played only once, and yet it remained in my mind as if I knew it before. I was then told by this man to play this music on a
Yeah, kind of
piano
hard to have a bass there.
and bring it to the attention of the people here on Earth. I never before knew how to play the piano, and yet it seems that some strange force guides my fingers to play the music that I heard in the cabin.
Yes, so a big part of Howard Menger's story, and one of his, what I call the super duper prover maneuver, is that Howard Menger claimed that he had never taken a single piano lesson. He had never had any experience playing the piano. He simply met these aliens. They told him to play this alien music, and suddenly, magically, he had the ability to play the piano like an expert. But I have heard Howard Menger's piano playing. I'm a musician myself. I wouldn't call what he does an expert level piano player. Like I would call him maybe a novice, slightly above beginner level, maybe. But Howard Menger used this throughout his career, giving talks, lectures, whatever, as proof. You know, hey, I never took any piano lessons, and suddenly I met these aliens and I was able to play piano. So, you know, that's problematic because I can't prove or disprove that statement, really, but he gives that as some sort of proof of his claims. I had to meet aliens because how else could I suddenly be able to play the piano when I never took piano lessons? Well, you're saying you never did. Okay.
I stayed with the man who said he was from Saturn, and with the two other wonderful men who said they were from Venus. I stayed with them through the early morning hours. There were other fascinating instruments and gadgets in the cabin.
I agree, Eidemann.
I asked many questions, which were answered, some of which will be revealed in my book.
We're going to get to the sick beats, but there's no beats. There's no beats in his music.
Before turning,
there is no beats at all in his music, but I know people like Simon Fly are going to take this music and loop it up and use it. So that's another reason why I'm presenting this, because maybe some good can come out of UFO grifting from the 1950s, right?
This record over, you will hear two selections. The first selection, entitled Marla, she is the young lady pictured with me on the album cover. She is the sister of the beautiful blonde Venusian who spoke to me many years ago.
Yeah, so it was a beautiful blonde girl from Venus that he met as a teenager and taught him all about planetary science and gravity and philosophy and spirituality. And he would meet her in the forest for lessons, right? As a teenage boy. Blonde hair, blue-eyed, big eyes. Yeah. Okay.
Who was my first contact from outer space. The whole story will be found in the books entitled From Outer Space to You.
He plugs the book.
Written by me.
He plugs the book on the album. Like you bought the album. Hey, you gotta buy the book that goes along with the album to hear the alien stories, bro.
And My Saturnian Lover. Written by Miss Marla Baxter. The second selection is called The Theme from the Song from Saturn. These two selections are interpretations taken from the actual music that has come to me from another planet.
By the way, as a musician myself, I was curious to hear what this so-called alien music would sound like. And I'm sorry, spoiler alert, it sounds exactly like music from Earth. And that's another problem for me, because how do aliens develop the same, chord structure, tonal scale, all the notes are the same in alien music? That doesn't make sense. What if they tuned their why would aliens from a whole nother planet tune their instruments exactly the same way that humans tune their instruments? A little bit of a problem for me to believe that. Like, wouldn't they have maybe a different tonal scale or a different tuning, and their music would sound different than Earth music? But according to Howard Menger, alien music from Saturn and Venus sounds exactly like Earth music of the 1950s, right? This sort of Lawrence Welk. I don't know. There's like pianos, and we'll sample some of the music.
You will now hear Marla, followed by the theme from the song from Saturn.
And I'm going to turn this down a little bit because listen, folks, somebody might be sleeping listening to the show, and I don't want to disturb them. Okay, so we'll turn it down a little bit. If you think it's too low, please let me know. This is supposed to be alien music, but it sounds strangely like Lawrence Welk or popular music of the 1950s for older people. You know, I mean, this isn't Elvis or rock and roll. This is like the kind of music that older people listened to in the 1950s. You know, there'd be accordions and a horn, maybe, you know, maybe like a 4-piece band playing this stuff, the kind of stuff that you would see on like the Lawrence Welk show or something. I don't understand how this is alien music, but this is what he's claiming. I don't think this sounds like aliens. Yeah, this is alien music. This is supposed to be music from aliens. And again, as a musician myself, I mean, this is all standard E-tuned instruments, you know, like this is standard tuning of earthly instruments. So does it make sense, first of all, that aliens would come from a whole nother star system or even another planet, let's say, and come to Earth? They contact this man, Howard Menger. They gift him with the ability to be able to suddenly play piano when he's never had any music lessons in his entire life. And then they have an important message that they want Howard Menger to communicate to all of Earth, and it's bad popular music written on accordions and horns and stuff that is tuned exactly the same way Earth music is tuned and played exactly the way Earth music is played. I mean, you know, to be honest with you, when I heard authentic music from another planet, I thought maybe Howard Menger had access to some kind of early synthesizers or something, you know, or maybe some crystal bowls or something, and he would make like wacky sounding music that did sound like it was from outer space. In which case, I think this whole story would be much more believable. But let me know what you think in live chat. Does this sound like music from alien beings? It sounds like music from my grandpa, you know? Like, this doesn't sound like aliens to me. I'm sorry. By the way, interesting fact, Howard Menger's wife played the accordion. I don't know that he credited her with playing the accordion on this album, but she did play the accordion. So isn't it interesting? And he said that this music was written by Maria, the sister of the alien that he had his first alien contacts with. I think this music is horrible. Let's go to the next one. And this is theme from the song from Saturn. Music, authentic music from another planet, friends. Yes. Oh, more accordions. Does this sound like alien music to you? I don't know. All right, that's another terrible accordion song. Here's an outro. We'll see what the outro is.
You may now turn the record over and listen to the song from Saturn, as it is played by me while my fingers are guided by this strange force. I have also been instructed to tell the people that those hearing this music would get a
Here's
feeling,
the sales pitch.
would reach an awareness. It would act as a mental assist to release something from their subconscious, and they would react in their conscious state with understanding and spiritual love for each other.
Yes, and this is what he would tell people while he was selling the album, the record at UFO conventions, that this music from authentic music from another planet would raise your consciousness or awareness, or maybe shift your vibration to be more love and light, more loving. Where have we heard that before?
But mankind on this planet Earth. Now you may listen to the song from Saturn.
The song from Saturn. And this one is all piano. Somebody was waiting for sick beats. There are no beats. Oh dear baby Jesus. Yeah. Shut up. It's authentic. Okay? This is authentic music from aliens. It's from another planet, Elish Avalon. Sounds like Days of Our Lives, my mother's favorite soap opera. No, he doesn't say anything about where it was recorded or what frequency. It's standard tuning, standard tuning. I agree. Elizabeth Wilcock playing the bowls while David Wilcock yelled at her sounded a lot more like alien music. I think so too. Yeah. And listen, here's the thing, like, I'm a musician. This sounds like noodling, like somebody's just like improvising on a piano. It doesn't sound like a written out piece of music that was hard to play. It sounds like he's noodling, which is just basically a musician playing around on a piano. Yeah, I don't know. Alien weapon. Could be. Somebody bought this garbage. Yes. It's not. Shut up. Shut up, sweet Caroline. This is not garbage. Look at the label. It's authentic music from another planet. It's not garbage. You don't appreciate music from Saturn? It's 15 minutes long. It's him noodling on a piano for 15 minutes straight. Shut up, sweet Caroline. It's music from aliens. Oh, this is so bad. This is so bad. So somebody asked about the tuning. I mean, to my ears, this sounds like standard piano tuning. which is, again, problematic because why would aliens know exactly how we tune our instruments? He even said at the beginning of this thing that he was shown an alien piano that had more notes and it was different in its scales. So why then would they write music that was the same number of notes as our pianos? There's no more notes in this piano piece than is in a standard Earth piano. None of this makes any sense. And it sounds like he's just banging around, noodling on a piano for 15 minutes to me. Shut up, Wendy Williams. This is authentic alien music. Shut up, Chris Johansson. All right, listen, I always say you got to respect our guests. This man is deceased. You better have some respect for Howard Menger because he learned to play the alien piano and the aliens told him to bring us this alien music, and he did. What have you done? This is, look, it even says authentic music from another planet. Don't say it's a hoax. Help sell the pizza. What? Everyone deserves a second chance. I'm just skipping the juicy bits and playing the alien accordion intros only. No, I support Howard Menger and his authentic alien music from another planet. People ask me all the time, what do I think is real? How do I know this isn't real alien music? How do you know it's not real alien music? No, we gotta believe her. Yeah, it's my fault that this doesn't sound like alien music. Come on, man. This sounds like somebody playing around on a piano. It doesn't even sound like a written piece. Somebody banging on a piano for 15 minutes straight, Moody Mongol. The aliens are going to invade us for copyright infringement. Yeah, maybe. It's not hilarious. This real alien music. Corey Good's gonna come out with an album next month. Yeah, he's gonna be like, damn, we gave up. We could have had alien music on iTunes. Not really. I mean, I'm a musician. He sounds like he's just banging around. There's no chords. There's no harmonies. I mean, there's chords occasionally, but that's just when the notes he's banging on happen to be chords. It's a cover tune. Spaces between the notes. What? It does. It sounds like bad World War II music. Yeah. You better get him to pay up front. He doesn't like paying his business partners. He likes suing them. Right? Oh, man. Yes, there's an alien composing this music somewhere. You know, and that's the other thing that I have a problem with. Aliens would come from another solar system and then give us music that they think is so important, but it's terrible music with some guy banging the hell out of a piano, right? For 15 minutes straight. Jeremy Corbell says he's playing all the right notes, but not in the right order. Maybe that's the problem. We just have to take it apart and reassemble it, right? If I turn the volume off, it would be perfect. I'm going to fast forward this. Let's see if we can get to the end. No, I thought it might get better. It doesn't get any better. It's just 15 minutes of noodling. Nubile noodles. Greatest hits from outer space. Play it backwards and hear the message. We could try that. It does. It sounds like he's playing this with his feet. I'm putting you to sleep. Thanks, Jewel Chicky, but we're going to wrap things up shortly here. Oh, man, this is bad. Come on. All right, there's 1 minute of it. We could take 1 more minute. It's alien music. This is important, right? It's music from aliens. Have some respect. They came all the way here from Saturn to share this incredible music with us. Backwards, it's AC/DC Highway to Hell. Maybe. Eyes Wide Open says, this is the music they play while they probe you on their ship. That's a scary thought. Oh, they like the Nine Inch Nails trail off. All right, so we didn't listen to this whole thing. I can't listen to this whole thing, but let me know, what do you think here in the comments? Is this genuine music? Is this really music from another planet? I know what I believe. I just happened to find this, but also in regards to Mr. Menger, he originally he said that the aliens came from Saturn and Venus. Later in life, he said, quote, years ago on a TV program, when I first voiced my opinion that the people I met and talked with from the craft might not be extraterrestrial, it was thought I had recanted. However, they, the aliens, said that they had come from the planet we call Venus or Mars. It is my opinion that these space travelers may have bypassed or visited other planets, as we are planning, but we're not native to those planets any more than our astronauts are native to the moon. So the story originally that they came from Saturn or Venus got changed after the proof that Saturn and Venus could not support life, right? And there are some who claim that the memories of Howard Menger, George Adamski, Buck Nelson, and other contactees were manipulated by evil ETs known as the Omegans in order to trick them into believing in life on Venus in order to discredit the message of the positive ETs. Menger had religious revelations to impart after his experiences and also came back from contacts with practical messages. When he was still young, he moved with his parents to Hunterdon County, New Jersey. His first alleged contact with a person from another planet was at the age of 10 in the woods near his home of High Bridge, New Jersey. And by the way, High Bridge, New Jersey is only an hour from me. So I'm planning on a road trip. We're going to go there, see if we can find the cabin where he talked to the aliens, see if we could find some former friends, family members, whatever, and dig a little more into his story just because it's an interesting story. But do I believe this is alien music? Well, no. And there's reasons I don't believe this is alien music. Alien nightclubs, 21 and back only. Yes. There's reasons I don't believe this is alien music. First of all, it's too similar to human music. Why would aliens from another planet have exactly the same chromatic scales, the same chords, the same tunings, the same notes as us? For all we know, they have weird musical instruments that wouldn't translate at all well, or they use different tunings, different things like that. I'm very, very skeptical, as I am with all of the UFO contactees, because you have to know, saying that you're meeting people from Venus and Mars and all these things at the time was plausible, at least. But then when proof that those planets, no planet in our solar system besides ours can support life comes out, they suddenly change their story, right? They suddenly change their story, and then they have new stories to come to cover the old stories, which does not make any sense. But it is what it is. It's still an interesting story. And I find it interesting that apparently the UFO grift or con has not changed since 1957. You come up with something to sell people and tell people it has some perceived benefit. For example, Howard Menger told everybody that if you listen to this music, it would make you a better and more loving person. Then you don't provide actual evidence or proof. You just tell stories and you get paid. Apparently, Howard Menger made a lot of money for a lot of years telling his alien contactee stories at different conferences and other venues where he would sell his books, sell his alien music from another planet record, and more. But it's interesting how little has changed. And the fact that apparently back in 1957, the laws were a little gray too, because he's saying, this is authentic music from another planet, and he's selling it. Then he's saying that there's a picture of an authentic spacecraft from another planet on the cover of the album that he's selling. And again, he's not proving these things. So it's much like today, where people can sell completely, totally fake garbage, fake stories, and there's no consequences. To me, him selling this album without actually proving that it's from aliens or is alien music is a form of fraud. But he was never prosecuted for that, just like the UFO grifters of today are not prosecuted for selling their fake garbage. I am reminded that I'm supposed to tell you guys how you can support the show. We thank each and every one of you kind and generous benefactors. We're a viewer-supported show. Here's Ian, our announcer, to let you know how you could support our show.
Truthseekers is a viewer-supported show. Wonderful people like you who enjoy this show send pledges in the form of super chats, super stickers, super thanks, PayPal, or Cash App. Instructions for how to help are in the description. You can also join our Patreon, and for as little as $1 a month you can get extra content. Patreon supporters get a backstage pass, early access to all our production videos before they are distributed publicly, Stephen Campion's music, private writings, a monthly show journal, and more. You can also become a YouTube channel member for $5 a month. A YouTube membership includes all of the Patreon benefits, plus a special members badge, priority reply to video comments, and the live chat, plus a monthly members-only video. We thank you all, kind and generous benefactors, for supporting Truth Seekers. Thank you for your generosity and support. Thanks for being here. This is Truth Seekers with your host, Stephen Campion. Please rate, like, and comment on our videos or podcasts. If you are listening to an audio podcast, please rate us 5 stars to help us rise in the search rankings. If you are watching on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. If you're listening to an audio podcast, we love and appreciate you listeners, but you are missing the live tapings. All our shows are recorded live with video feed. We'd love you to come be a part of our live broadcasts and tapings for the podcast. Head on over to YouTube, click the search tool, the little magnifying glass, put Truthseekers, one word, in the search bar and hit enter. You'll see a strange and mysterious guy with sunglasses. That means you found the channel. Go there, smash the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to receive up-to-date info on our YouTube channel. We welcome you to be a part of our live taping and our chat room during the live broadcasts. Seek the truth. Speak the truth. This is Truthseekers. Truthseekers.
And we are back, friends. And I want to remind you that one of the other ways to support our show is to send a PayPal pledge. Just be sure you add a note, and then I read whatever you add in the note. So we had a kind and generous PayPal pledge of $10 from Eisen, who says, "This is Eisen. Sorry I could not send more. It's a difficult time for my family since I've been disabled." So sorry to hear that, especially being disabled myself. I know that sucks. But you do good work, Stephen, and you bring a lot of happiness to me, and I consider you a friend. Keep up the good work, brother. Well, thank you, brother, for your kindness, generosity, and support of the show. It is much, much appreciated. And we also have Sweet Caroline with a kind and generous $20 PayPal pledge. Says, "Great show, like always. If anyone is listening, support Stephen via PayPal. YouTube doesn't give up about content creators." And that's from Sweet Caroline. Thank you, Sweet Caroline, for your kindness, generosity, and continued support of the show. And we've got one more kind and generous PayPal pledge. But this person did not add a note, so we'll just thank you for a kind and generous PayPal pledge of $2. Thank you, Denise, for your kindness, generosity, and support of the show. It is much, much appreciated. Thank you to all of you kind and generous Patreon supporters, channel members, PayPalers, PayPal pledgers, super sticker purchasers, and you super thanks people. I do see your comments. I try to thank each and every person. You can send a super thanks after the show ends, and we do try to recognize you in the comments, and I thank each and every one of you as well for your kindness, generosity, and support. Thank you, all of you, for helping us to praise the cash, friends.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right, so here we are. We'll take some comments and questions from the live chat. I've got a little more time to share with you, but I will be we'll be calling this one a quick one. Yes, praise the cash. And Footy Gangster is here. Telmet is here and says, "This is such a good channel. It should have way more subs." Thanks. We hear that a lot. So one of the other ways that you can help us is to copy our channel address and send that channel address to some friends that you know that may like our content, and ask them to please subscribe. And if you're listening on any of our alternative platforms like Rumble, Odyssey, Twitch, Twitter, or Facebook, please do go on over to YouTube, Truthseekers in the search bar. Look for me, the strange guy with sunglasses. Go to that channel, smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and you too will know when we're doing a live broadcast and taping for the podcast, and you are most welcome. So we'll take comments and questions from the live chat. Eyes Wide Open says, "Patty, the warning signs are everywhere." Okay. B. Baker says, "With 2 turntables and a microphone, it could have been pretty cool." Moody Mongol says, 85 minutes. Always a critic, right, Moody Mongol? 85 minutes into the show, and we only got 2 minutes of alien according music and 4 minutes of alien one-finger piano playing. I feel ripped off with that ratio. Take it up with Howard Menger, right? No Bull Truth says, "I got you, Stephen." Well, thank you. I got you as well, and I'm glad to see you here, right? Glad to see you here. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and kind words about our show here. And in other news, Ismael Perez has checked the box for Skynet from the Terminator series. Yeah, and that dude's losing his mind. He doesn't take criticism well. He must be an extreme narcissist because he's losing his mind. People are telling him that he's full of it and he's ripping off X-Men and comic books and stuff. And he's not taking that criticism too well, right? Oh, okay. Naomi Pachamama says, I sent you a message on here. Thanks for the informative content. And yeah, let me look at that. When you click on that section. Oh, yeah. I enjoy your content. Did you know that you could put a donation link in your About section on your page? Yeah, I'll look into that. We're still getting used to the Twitch. Still getting used to it. So as I learn more, sure, we want a donate button there so people can praise the cash over on the Twitch as well. That would be good. I would like to do that. And we've got 6 people over in the Twitch chat. By the way, the Twitch, the link to the Twitch stream is pinned at the top of the YouTube chat. So it would be helpful if you're on a PC, a tablet, a phone, wherever you're at, to click on that link and go over to the Twitch chat, even just to say hello to the Twitch folks. It might help our statistics, right? It would be good. Moody Mongol. Do you think, Stephen, would you be a more rounded individual if you listened to a whole Howard Alien album, or would it lead to Amityville Cabin scenario? Yeah, I'd probably murder somebody if I had to listen to a whole album of that, right? Did the warm salt water help your throat? I don't know. Whatever I had is slowly clearing up. I'm feeling a little bit better every day. But that also might be that I decided this week we're not going to do those 4-hour streamathons. We're just going to keep it to 2 hours or less every night so that I'm not talking for 5 hours a day. So I've been saving up my throat, resting my throat. Maybe that helped as well. I also did, thanks to my wonderful wife. She's such a great wife. She knew I was feeling like hell. So she took the kids to her mom's all day and all night on Saturday. And I mean, I just slept like I haven't slept in so long. I just slept, and then I woke up and I ate something, and then I went back to bed and I slept some more. And then I woke up and then I went back to bed for the night. Like I slept all this past weekend. And that I think is the rest and is the best thing for you, right? And Talmud is asking, what alien story do you think is the most believable or might have something to it that can't outright be debunked? My favorite is Roswell, and that is because of the volume of material. There is more books written about the Roswell event than any other UFO event in the history of UFO events. There's more witness testimony. There is more documentaries. There is more data. Now, I consider all of the material data on a particular case. And Roswell, I still can't get past, as skeptical as I am, I cannot get past the deathbed confessions of people near death telling their children, I saw the bodies, I saw aliens at Roswell, we're not alone in the universe, I want you to know that before I die, and things like that. So to me, Roswell is the holy grail, the one story that can't really be debunked, though people claim that they debunked, oh, it's just a weather balloon. I don't believe that. There's 2 witnesses to a debris switch, Jesse Marcel and somebody else whose name always escapes me. I'll get back to you on that. I'll look it up again. But 2 separate military men who were there at the time they took those pictures of the so-called Roswell debris said that they switched the debris. That was not what they picked up from the debris field. That was something else that they were given to show the photographers and take the pictures with when the government decided that it was just a weather balloon. I think 2 people saying they did a debris switch is pretty convincing evidence that they did indeed switch the debris. They had one set of debris that may have been alien or extraterrestrial. They switched it with something very earthly and ordinary, radar reflectors and pieces from a weather balloon. No Bull Truth says, even with all the nonsense, I'd assume Stephen still knows this is simply our own terrestrial military pulling those psyops and false memories into the current look at me generation. Yeah, I believe there might be something to that. And I believe that there might be a real program to implant memories. I mean, you can look into government projects in mind control and, look at that stuff and all of the records that they destroyed. And one of my favorites is Operation Midnight Climax, where they got a bunch of, how do I say this in the YouTube current climate? Ladies of the night. They got some ladies of the night who were working girls to dose people with LSD and then see if they could control their minds through the dosing of LSD. It was called Operation Midnight Climax. So there is some real substantial and supportive evidence of government mind control programs. Who knows what they have? And people claim that there's some sort of electronic devices that they could beam information into people's brains or auditory hallucinations. I am aware of something called a bone speaker, in which you can transmit sound to somebody and they'll hear it, but no one else in the room will. Amy Collins is here. Welcome, Amy Collins. It says the ET apologists would say this proves the ETs came here for Chuck Berry, Little Richard, Bill Haley in the comments, and Elvis. It was a step up for the ETs. Yeah, maybe we just had better music, right? Maybe we just had better music. Raids are the best. A lot of times the streamer who bought the raid will give subs to other viewers. That's cool. Yeah, we were trying to expand our Twitch base over there. It's nice to see that we have 8 people over in the Twitch chat now. So thank you, all you people in the Twitch chat. We're really trying to get our statistics up. I'm going to go over to the creator dashboard, and I can show you what I mean. We're always honest with our audience. So it looks like if we look at my achievements, we're trying to get to the affiliate so that people can send us money over at Twitch. But apparently we're streaming too much over there and have too few viewers. We need an average of 3 viewers, and we have an average of 1.41. So we have an average usually of 1.5 viewers. I don't know how that's possible, because I've been looking over there. It's really been picking up lately. We've been having 5 or 7, or tonight we have 8 viewers over on Twitch. So maybe, just maybe, if we keep having 7 or 8 viewers on Twitch, we'll hit the 3 over there, right? Meet Gort 222 is here and says hi all over in the Twitch chat. And X Ricky Sauce 58X is over there in the Twitch chat. And Naomi is over there in the Twitch chat. Pachamama, that'll pick up. Well, I hope that it does. And I hope you people that do have friends that are on Twitch, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Thursday. We always do a show 9 p.m. Monday through Thursday. Hopefully, we'll have more listeners, more viewers over there. We'll hit whatever metrics they want us to hit, we'll hit it. And we'll be better able to praise the cash, right? Yeah, Algaray says, you've always been over 1.5 viewers on Twitch. Not sure how they got that number. Well, they're averaging everything. And I did some stupid things like transmitting. I was broadcasting those third phase documentaries with no sort of promotion, just putting them over there so that a few people might pick it up and see those. And there was very few viewers for those because they were not promoted or supported. We just kind of shot them over there. And I did that a bunch of times, and that screwed up our metrics. So it's my fault, but we're learning, and we will adapt and overcome, right? Yeah. Well, how do you get 1.5 viewers? Maybe there's a pregnant viewer, Algaray. Yeah. Well, we're trying. We'll get there. I think what we might do is some Twitch-only streams, because then we might have 50 or 100 people over there if we're only on Twitch one night, and that should pump up our numbers. Maybe we'll do that. Actually, we're going to do that. We're going to do that, and I will make an announcement, and we will promote a Twitch-only stream. We'll get all of you people over there to the Twitch channel, and that should help us to hit those numbers, and then we can praise the cash on Twitch, because given current environment on YouTube, we really need to do something to increase our revenue. It's discouraging. Like I said, I'm kind of discouraged, but I'm also like, whatever. We adapt and overcome. I remember when I first started the show, we weren't monetized anywhere. So I would beg people for the PayPal pledges. And we even try to come up with some way to, quickly make a graphic thanking them and put it up on the screen and all these things. But it's rough. And the majority of the pledges, of course, come from the majority of the financial support for our show comes from YouTube. So seeing that they are sort of tightening their belt, but it's a terrible economy. So they're sort of tightening their belt, changing the rules, making it harder to make money as a content creator there. It's discouraging, but I'm not that, I'm not that discouraged. I think we've faced bigger obstacles and hurdles than that, and we're just going to keep rolling on, right? Moody Mongol says, we have to face facts. Corbell has the best, most perfectly groomed beard in all of ufology. Once we get over that fact, we might be able to affect a change. Yeah, maybe. But who knows? Yeah, that dude's such a clown. I can't believe he's making these new fantastical claims. Hasn't proved his first claims, second claims, third claims. He's on to the 10th claims, right? Oh, DJ D's. She was the one who claimed she was a test subject for the voice to skull technology, and that Russia's head of security was the one in charge. Yeah, that's a funny story. We might cover that, right? Naomi says, I'm glad I discovered you. Well, you know what, Naomi? It was worth me streaming on Twitch all this time with nobody watching just to find good people like you and ex-Ricky Sauce 58 and Algo Ray, who's always over there, right? It was worth everything just to find a few great viewers and supporters of the show. And we appreciate you being over there. We need it. We need your support. So we thank you. Tony V is holding down the Facebook chat over there. Says, hey, Stephen, was listening to Appetite for Disclosure today. Wow, that one makes you think. Yes, for those unaware, you can go to Spreaker and there is instructions for how to go to our audio podcast. And I'm sort of uploading, again, in an attempt to get some revenue generated here. We're uploading old episodes of my previous show. Before I did Truth Seekers, I did a show called The Midnight Hour. It was every Saturday at midnight on the Fringe FM. We've got 50-something episodes of that we never broadcasted to Spreaker and Apple iTunes and all that and iHeartRadio, so we're doing it now. There's an episode called The Appetite for Disclosure that I think explains a lot of the psychology behind how the UFO grifters are able to make so much money. And that essentially is that there's such a hunger for this information and such a hunger for this information to be out there, but there's so little credible, real information about these things that the grifters, the con artists, the scammers rush in to fill the void and meet the demand. But their information is garbage. Tall Starlight is over there saying, I'm dual streaming you now. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. 11 now over on the Twitch chat. Good to see that. I'm going to go over there. And, I wish they let you pop out. They don't let you pop out the Twitch chat, or I could stream it now. I'm just going to, first time in the chat, Tall Starlight, first time in the chat. I'm just going to put a message here to the Twitch chatter saying thanks for being here, all of you. Don't get that. I think I have to look at the weather again. Let me see if we can do this quickly. I am having a real problem lately, and that is cabin withdrawal. Because of the way the holidays fell on Christmas and New Year's, I didn't go to the cabin, stayed home to spend time with my wife and children and not get murdered by my wife. So some year I'd like to have Christmas at the cabin, but I don't think my wife's up for that. But I haven't been to the cabin in weeks and weeks and weeks. And then I was going to go last week, but I felt like hell. So I said, no, I'm just going to stay home and rest. I can go next week. But now it looks like there's a huge storm that is approaching the cabin, and on Saturday there's going to get an accumulation of something like 10 inches. And when that happens, I could literally get stuck at the cabin and not be able to get out to the main road to get home. So it's always like, it's always difficult. Like, do I just go and take my chances, or do I do the cautious thing? So anyway, I'm having cabin withdrawal. I haven't been able to get there. Might not get there again this weekend. And as luck would have it, I have my children Monday and Tuesday, because Martin Luther King Day is not enough. We got to have another one, right? Martin Luther King Day is Monday, and then there's some sort of administrative holiday on Tuesday, so I get my children all day, all night, Monday and Tuesday. You brace yourself, right? Welcome to the show with kind and generous 99 pence super sticker, and we thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support of the show, and for helping us to praise the cash. Thank you. Welcome to the show. Longtime show supporter. Yeah, thank you. Welcome to the show. Yeah, we got to do, I think we're going to do a fundraiser for the show. And I also should probably announce that I've been trying to finish it for months and I just can't finish it. But I have a new musical album, which is going to be the first album that I've ever produced of music that I'm not going to hide behind a band name or anything like that. It's just going to have my name on it. It'll be the first album I've ever produced where I had the confidence to just say, yeah, these are my songs. I played and produced the whole thing. I had a few people from Fiverr. I had help from Fiverr. Hey, don't knock it till you try it. I had a song and I could not play the bass on it. It was wonky. So I kept trying and I was doing it bad. Let's see, what is this? One second here. Who's dinging me? I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. And occasionally somebody will send me a message that is relevant. Is this one relevant? Please unhide them. I don't know how to do that. You want me to do it right now? Really? Hold on. Let me see if I can fix this. Somebody got hidden that wasn't supposed to be hidden. And you know what, V. Baker? I'm going to have to do it after the show. Like, let me see. Yeah, I don't know how to unhide somebody right on the fly right now. So unfortunately, I apologize if you've been hidden in the chat by accident. I'm going to have to fix that after the show. I know how to do it, or I did, but well, you know what we could do? We could do a musical guests, and I'll figure that out. We will have this fixed soon. Who? Caroline, you did that? Ugh. Sweet Caroline asks, is this really true, or did you get Pragmagic to play some tunes? No, I asked Pragmagic to do it, and he said he was going to do it, and then he never did it. And so I hired somebody from Fiverr to do what Pragmagic was supposed to do on and it came out great. And by the way, I still use that guy from Fiverr instead of Keats. All right. All right. I'll figure this out right now because I don't like users being hidden. So please, friends, just bear with me for a minute because if somebody screwed up and hid people or something. All right. I have the instructions. Select settings, community. Okay. Oh, there's always something going on. Okay, settings. I got it. I'll get it. Community. Why would you guys hide somebody that's a good user by accident? And no, I don't see. Oh no, Eisen is there. And who was the other one? My gosh. The Urban Way. Yeah, they are unhidden. There you go. There we go. We fixed it. See? How about t-shirts? Yeah, people would ask me about that for a while. I got to get somebody to figure out this Teespring thing because I tried to do it and it didn't work. Sweet Caroline, you're fired. You're fired. Are you the one that hit people? Thank you, Eisen. Glad to see you back. Sorry about that. I'll just write sorry about that. My mods are drunk. That's what I wrote. That's what happened. The mods are drunk tonight. They're just hiding users. Truthseekers swag. Great idea. Yeah. I also know somebody in the wearables industry who offered to make me shirts. So maybe we'll just get shirts made and then sent here, and then I'll ship them out. But that's kind of a hassle. But then again, on Teespring, you make like pennies. Like somebody buys a shirt for $25, and the person who sold the shirt gets like $1.50, which is really, I don't like that, right? Steven needs to get some sick sunglasses merch going on. The red tint is killing it. We could all then watch the show in a pair of sweet sunglasses. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll try that. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Yeah. I don't want to hear excuses. Stop drinking on the job. It really was an accident. Narcolepsy. I'll pass out often when I try to stay up, though. It's rough. You're fired. You're fired. Elsa Dutton is over in the Twitch chat, and thank you for being over there. Yeah, and I'm trying to find out. Oh, we've got 12 people in the Twitch chat. First time we've had that many, so thank you guys for being over there. There is the link to the Twitch stream and chat is pinned in the YouTube. If you do have a Twitch account, go on over there and help us get up our numbers. If not, it's okay. Just sign up for Twitch. It's great. If you like video games, you can watch people play games. There's other content on there. More and more people are starting to stream on Twitch non-game material, which is good. Sweet Caroline wishes it was the alcohol making her do this. Yeah, I'm just glad I was able to fix it. But I hate stuff like that. Like, I'm right in the middle of a live show, Sweet Caroline, and B. Baker's texting me like, you got to unhide these users. And what did he say? Hold on. He said, this dumb girl, Sweet Caroline, screwed up. And no, he didn't say. I'm just kidding. I'm getting him in trouble. Yeah. Elsa Dutton is over there. Nice to see you, Elsa Dutton. Yeah, we'll get this stuff up. We'll get those stats up. Then we can praise the cash on Twitch too. Yeah, well, it's not. If you see, here's the thing, Patty. We can either do it the easy way for me, which means very little money, which means a service company, you give them the design, they print the shirt, they ship it to the customer. But then I get pennies. I get, like they sell shirt for $25, and I think the content creator gets a couple of dollars, or maybe like $6 or something. And the service company keeps most of the money. The most profitable way to do it is the most work for me, which means I have to go to a service company, get the shirts printed, they ship them to me here in bulk. And then every time somebody orders a shirt, I put it in a little, package and I drop it off at the post office. But that gets to be difficult when I'm pretty busy as it is, but I'd rather do it that way, Patty, and actually make some money. This giving it all to the service company doesn't appeal to me. And also, Patty, if we do it the harder way, I can control the price and keep it reasonable, like $20 for a shirt instead of $35 or, something like that, right? Do I think the dude who made the alien music had a following? He made quite a good living for many, many years doing lectures and talks at UFO conferences, so I guess so, right? Yeah. I am awesome, actually. Yes. So we're going to bounce on out of here, friends. We'll be back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. And we'll also be here Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, probably Friday, maybe Saturday. We will do a Twitch-only live stream so we can get those numbers popping, so we can become an affiliate, so we can make some money over on Twitch. And that, this is what I was saying. It's easy to get discouraged about these YouTube changes. And but I kind of think that it's okay. You just adapt, right? So if the YouTube revenue drops some, we'll make it up in other areas. Like we'll go over to Twitch and praise the cash there. We will praise the cash and do what we need to do to for the show to survive and continue on. I'm all chips in, and we're going to continue this journey. Maybe we'll sell T-shirts or crystals, right? There's crystal hippie bitches, right? Oh, I did it. I just lost the 27 cents. Witches, I said. Those witches that do witchcraft? Yeah. Try to fool that algorithm. Yeah. I do have an Instagram, but unfortunately, I don't use it. And there's pictures there from like 5 years ago. So I'm going to start a new Instagram just for Twitch, or excuse me, just for Truth Seekers. I got to figure out how to do that. It's actually on my list of things to do, Naomi. But you feel free to send me your Instagram, and I'll send you my Instagram that I have now, and then I'll send you the new one, which should be a little more relevant to today, because the other one I used for a little while. I had a job I hated, so I used to just take pictures of random stuff all day and post it. It's really not a great Instagram. Yeah, I'm going to sell coffee and crystal skulls and crystals for the crystal hippie girls, right? Those new age girls, they'll buy anything. As long as it's got crystal in it, we're going to be putting crystals in all kinds of stuff. Well, maybe we'll sell crystal panties, Jeremy Corbell, for the crystal hippie girls. They would love it. It's panties and it's got crystals in it. Crystal panties, right? I don't know. Yeah, we definitely need merchandise, though. That would also help us to offset the costs of running the show and things changing here, right? Star Hunter is here and says he's back. He had to demolish a platter of Chinese food. Well, I wish I had that problem, but I did make sausage and peppers today, which is one of my favorite meals. And especially, of course, I'm back to eating carbs, but I'm going to go back to not eating carbs because I'm already putting on weight that I lost already, and I don't want to see that happen again. 14 viewers over there on Twitch. That's great to see. Thank you guys for doing that. I appreciate it. And we'll just do that every time. Downloadable screensavers. Yeah, only if we charge $99, right? $99, you get a screensaver. Forget these people giving out free wallpapers and screensavers. We're not doing that. No. Ruby quartz crystal sunglasses. Yeah, like Colossus from the X-Men uses, right? It stops laser eye beams. So if you're a super soldier, those could come in handy. Yeah, I hope we see him back too, but maybe he's pissed off because the mods are being nasty to him and hiding him for no reason because they're drunk, sweet Caroline. Yeah, we're starting. Thanks, Dan. Sandy Smith says, sorry, I don't do Twitter, Twitch, or Instagram. I will see you on YouTube and hope you get your numbers on the other platforms. That's what I'm saying. We're adapting and overcoming. It was a good time to start a Rumble and Odyssey and all these other outlets and to really work on our Twitch. It's good to see that we Eisen says, I finally found the goof on vids where they are so funny. They're hoaxers again. Yeah, I know. I'm terrible. I did that, Eisen. I did that. I thought it was funny, right? And I think it's funny the longer the shit... You watch this documentary, and every time that we explain the hoax, then there's Richie Grifton going, they're hoaxers again. Yeah, Al Garay wants to buy super soldier sunglasses. Yeah, we're going to have to do something like that. I did have privacy pouches. I was going to sell these privacy pouches, and those are they're lined pouches, and you put your cell phone in them, and your cell phone can't be tracked or contacted or bothered. Maybe we'll look back into that. But I got stuck at trying to get the Truthseekers logo embroidered or put on them somehow. They're like little leather. Anyway, we'll figure it out. We'll come up with some crap. I mean, high quality products to sell you to support the show. These changes, you know, I have a few people messaging me like, Steve, what are you going to do? These changes are going to destroy your show. Like, there's nothing I can do, right? There's nothing I can do other than adapt and overcome. And oh, look at that. Linda Mack just became a YouTube channel member. And we love you, Linda Mack. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support, and becoming a member. Odyssey stream just had trouble. We're having trouble streaming to your destination. We keep trying and let you know if it's resolved. And by the way, our distribution plans, we may be adapting things. You know, we streamed to everywhere we could, and then we're figuring out what works for us, what doesn't work for us, what's worth it for the time spent to do that, and what's not worth it. And we're going to have to adapt and overcome where that is concerned. But we thank you, Linda Mack, for becoming a YouTube channel member, and you can too. Just hit the join button. You get some extra goodies. Go to the community tab, and you can see some private members-only extra goodie content, Linda Mack. Thank you for helping us. Thank you for becoming a member, and thank you all for helping us to praise the cash.
You're watching Truth Seekers. Praise the cash, praise the cash.
Thank you, Linda Mack. Great to see new members. I appreciate all of you members. And by the way, as soon as we're done and off here, I will be working on extra goodies for you Patreon supporters and channel members. That's what I'm doing tonight. Ganja73 says, you're doing an awesome job, Stephen. Keep it up. Well, thank you for being over there, Ganja73. Good to see you over there. And thanks to everybody that really does help us. We'll get those Twitch numbers up, hopefully, and we will get monetized over there. I didn't know if you know this, but if you have an Amazon Prime account, Amazon owns Twitch. And if you have a Prime account, they give you $5 to give to any Twitch streamer every month. And it doesn't cost you anything. So it's very important that we get monetized there, because then we can make a commercial encouraging people who have an Amazon Prime account to not to waste that $5 that Amazon gives them free every month, but to give it to us to support the show. And that's great because it won't cost you anything. If you've already got an Amazon Prime account, you'll soon be able to throw $5 to our show every month, and it will cost you absolutely nothing. Maybe I could market. Operation Shutdown is here and says, maybe you should market your new album as alien music. Well, I don't know about that, Operation Shutdown, but what I will be doing is this new album that I'm finishing up, as soon as it's done and I'm able to sell it, every penny from that album is going into building the new studio. Every penny that we take in from the sales of that musical album, my first with my name actually on it, right? Not to share any credit with a band that barely exists, right? We'll be putting every penny towards the building of the new studio. Nitro is amazing. I don't have it, but was gifted once. It's nice for the large files. Oh, I heard about Nitro. Yeah. Yeah. And Naomi says, so cute. That's my little cash clown. He's my 6-year-old. He's very interested in the show. So sometimes I help him to praise the cash by paying him a couple of bucks to help me make bumpers and videos to help, you know, praise the cash. And Emma's here and says, keep it up. Ann says, I joined your Patreon today. I saw that. And I apologize for forgetting to call that out. So thank you, Ann. We appreciate your kindness, generosity, and support. There's a lot of content on Patreon, a bunch of music and extra goodies and backstage passes and monthly show journals. You get that being a YouTube channel member as well. But you get the history of it more with Patreon because there's posts going back a few years now. Thank you, and Christian Fountain, new Patreon supporter, for helping us to praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash.
Praise the cash, and Christian Fountain. We love that, right? Amy Collins. I was in several. The first one was a Philadelphia band called Acid, ACID, but it stood for Another Cry in Darkness. And it depends on who you ask, but some people just called it Acid, and some people would insist on saying ACID, ACID. And then I started a solo project, which I named Haywire, because while recording in the studio, weird things started happening, like, data was getting lost, whole songs were getting lost. It was like everything was going wrong. So I called that project Haywire. There's some music videos of Haywire and live performances in my old channel. That was essentially a solo project, but I had a live band to play live shows with. But I did everything myself in the studio, more or less. Occasionally somebody would play like one part of a song. And then I did a project called Dreams in the Dark with a 7-hour long concept album. And before Another Cry in Darkness, there was also a project called Cambian's Curse. That was just me. And Dreams in the Dark was almost all just me and no band. And now I'm going to cut the mask off and just be Stephen Cambian for a music album. All of my music going forward would just be Stephen Cambian on the cover or artwork or whatever. I guess I'm turning into Ozzy, Amy Collins, a solo artist that's going to just be a solo artist and be okay with that, right? Yeah. Eisen says, you don't want the aliens to sue you for stealing their IP, their precious IP. Yeah. Or Cosmic Con artists, right? We don't want any Cosmic Con artists coming around trying to sue us or whatever, right? Yeah. So we're going to have an update on that double murder case that I've been working on. Apparently, I'll get into that on another show, but there's some funny stuff that happened with all of that. The right to know request, they told me to file right to know requests, and then they denied my right to know requests and said, right to know requests are not for questions. But you told me to file right to know requests with my questions. Then they told me right to know requests are not for questions. Why are you? Yeah, it's pretty incredible. And people locally think there's a cover-up of that case, and I'm starting to believe it. They don't want to give me any information whatsoever. They refuse to give me any information whatsoever. And I'm left wondering why. It's a 30-year-old case. No harm can really come from releasing some, old information, but it is what it is. We will expand on that double murder case on a future show. I will be back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will be here Thursday and probably maybe Friday as well. So that's all I got for you, friends, and I hope that you will join us tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We want to thank all you kind and generous benefactors, you Patreon supporters, you PayPal pledgers, you super chatters, you super sticker purchasers, PayPal pledgers, did I get it all? And channel members. Thank you all for your kindness, generosity, and support. We want to also thank our chat room moderators and Spooky as well for the wonderful graphics. And we want to thank Howard Menger for giving us something interesting to talk about. May he rest in peace. So that's all I got for you, friends. Until next time, my name is Stephen Cambian. Good night, and God bless all of you. Numbers up.